If you're the type of golfer who feels like they wipe across the golf ball and you have weak shots that kind of, go out to the right and you just cannot get control of them, this is the video for you. We're going to find a really simple way to feel the right coil going back and a much better position going through impact so you can stop feeling like this white peak across feeling and getting rid of that slice. Before we jump in today's tip, I do want to let you guys know that if you head down to the description box, I have a lot of really cool stuff. If you want to work with me individually, one-on-one, that's down there. I have a couple of really cool programs down there. One I just recently launched, which combines swing analysis and PT. So if you're in pain and you want to get rid of your pain and still play golf, that is something for you. I also have swing analysis that you can check into and check out my website. There's a lot of really good stuff down there. I'm really excited to hear from you guys. So let's jump into today's session. All right, golfers. So in today's session, I have a great little reference for you guys how your turn and your coil should feel going back and through and what it shouldn't feel like. And what, sometimes you guys probably haven't even asked yourself, how does my coil feel? But today we're here to really feel our coil. So if you are at home, you can do this. If you're on the range watching this, you can do this. So I encourage you guys to get up off of from whatever you're doing and do this with me. So I want you to get into your setup position, nice and, bend over like you would if you had a ball. We're going to cross our arms. We're going to coil back. And if you're coiling correctly, guys, two things are going to happen. You're going to see your left shoulder go closer to the right foot. It's not going to be over the right foot, but it's going to be closer. So what we do not want to see is for it to kind of stay over that left foot from my perspective. And even from yours, but I'm talking about your own perspective as a golfer. So let's make sure that left shoulder comes at least halfway between your feet. And you're going to feel a stretch through that right side. If you don't feel a stretch through this side, you're not doing it right. So the two pieces you should feel and you should see are, again, going back, feeling like that left shoulder coming closer to your trail foot and feeling this stretch right here on the right side. That is the biggest two pieces in the backswing. So now if we were to translate this into a top of the backswing, it would look like this, right? Nice coil, really nice resistance to the lower body that we can fire through and go. What a lot of people do feel instead is one of two things. Either they feel like no stretch at all in here in the right side, so that means their shoulders are turning way too flat. There's no stretch. It's almost like you feel a stretch in this side, which you don't want to feel. So definitely the stretch has to be felt on the right-hand side. Or they just tilt like this and the left shoulder actually never goes over. There's not a good turn. These people might still feel some stretch on the right side, but it's more because they're tilting. There's not because they're actually coiling. So that's why it's really important to make sure that this shoulder, you pay attention to it from your perspective and it doesn't just drop down, but it comes over and around, and then this stretch is felt right here. So that's what you do want to feel in the backswing, guys. So that's going to allow a couple of things. Number one, it's going to allow you to turn back well, coil up, build resistance to the lower body that you can then fire through in the downswing. And that's really the biggest piece. It's also going to get you a deeper turn. So if I'm going to face this way, which is really important for somebody who's wipey, because if the shoulder never travels over, you're more tilty and that right hip actually never quite gets deep enough, like as in behind you. It just kind of sways and it goes up and the shoulder goes down. So if you're doing it right, we really want to feel that stretch, and you see how much more back and how much deeper that hip turn gets. That allows us to have a really good turn back, good coil. Our chest is facing back, and now we can actually keep those hips deep and avoid this right hip shooting forward and being in our own way, which then brings the hands forward, and then we want to pull the hands back in and wipe across it. So that is the pattern of issues that so many of us have, but this is why we're here, guys, right? So big piece. It gives you a good turn. It gives you resistance in the backswing. Now, let's talk about the downswing. The downswing, we actually want to feel the opposite of a stretch in this right side. And we're going to keep focusing on this right side for today. In the downswing, again, I'm going to go into my posture here, and I encourage you guys to do this before you actually hit a ball or take a club. So do this as a dry drill. Get your hands across your chest. Nice shoulder turn, good stretch in this side. Now as you come through, I actually want you to start feeling a crunch. So left hip goes back and up, and you should feel a shortening in this side, a severe shortening. So you can think of it as your rib cage getting closer to your hip because there's almost no space anymore between my rib cage and my hip. And that creates that side bend. So it's almost like a side crunch. And I'll show you this from the side. Again, going back, nice deep turn, nice stretch. You're up here. Now as the left hip goes back and up and the hands drop, we want to make sure that as we get to impact, this actually shortens. You see how my rib cage is much closer to my hip. And then that kind of allows us to really feel like we're getting through the ball. Our knees are leaning laterally. They're not shooting forward. Because if I were to shoot forward, this isn't crunched. Nobody shoots forward and does this because you're really going to miss the ball. So really feeling like that hip stays back, right hip back, left hip back, crunch in that right side, and then let the club through and just feel like you can stand up out of the golf ball. So on the way back, to summarize, we want to feel a stretch on the right side with a good shoulder turn. And on the way down, we want to feel a crunch in that right side. Here, and turn. So that happens crunch, and then you add the turn, then you're right where you want to be, right? So right here, you're up here, and then you go crunch and turn. And you can do this. This has to be one motion eventually. So the crunch and turn becomes this, right? It doesn't go, you're not going to do crunch and then turn, right, in a golf swing, but it has to be a one motion eventually, crunch and turn, boom, you're right here at impact. And a really good drill for this is the split grip drill. Rory does this a lot, so we just kind of really split our hands down the grip, and you take it back, and then you break it through, and that really brings your right side through, and you can feel like how it drops because the hand's lower on the shaft, so the right shoulder drops, and it really kind of encourages this crunch right here, boom, right? And then you're through. So I love this drill, clearly, because Rory does it, and it seems to be working on and off based on his game. Kidding. Pretty on. Who are we to be? Who are we to judge? We're in the hallway while this guy's at the US Open. So clearly is working, and a lot of other people are doing this drill too. So if you feel like you have wipey shots that go to the right, this is your fix. Highly recommend you try this. I hope you guys love this video. If you do, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below. I always want to hear from you guys. And also let me know what you want to see next, because that's what I'm here for. I make content for you guys, not for me. I know this stuff. You don't. So let's make sure you tell me what you want to see. I'm happy to film it. And yeah, maybe switch on the notification button, because then you get notified when I actually upload my next video, which is on a weekly basis. So thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys next time.